So your driver head is probably lying to you. Honestly, it's going to affect your game a lot more than you think. So in the world of three-dimensional objects, you're looking at something that could create an optical illusion, particularly with the different shapes, designs, patterns. Ping has that weird fin that goes out on the sides for the crown and stuff. All of that stuff is going to create a visual representation. There is a thing that some people go and say, I'm not going to do it as a stab at him, but Mark Crossfield has a good point on looks and feel should be tertiary when it comes into your selection of clubs. I believe looks and feel should be and or equal to your first choice. If the club doesn't look right to you, you're not going to hit it right. Now, what I'm talking about with the optical illusion is it is a bulbous shape that is not conformed to a singular direction. The crown of these are going to be a lot thinner than the soles because it's trying to go and remove as much weight from the top to put it as low in the base as possible to create a lower center of gravity. They also are going to have, like in this ZX5 driver, there's a weight in the heel in the back to move the weight as far back and down as possible in the club face. What this is going to do is going to give you pop and flight direction out of your hit. So they're going to move every bit of weight and everything as far back as possible. Unless you're trying to create low spin, then the weight's going to be moved forward. Why does all this stuff matter? Well, again, you're looking at a three-dimensional object that is made purposely out of alignment to give the maximized amount of effect at impact, because your swing isn't a perfect line. It is in an arc in three different directions. You need to understand that the club head is set to where it looks like it's going out. I put the tape on these to give you a solid representation of two different types of heads. This one is non-weighted, whereas this one is weighted, and this is adjustable, whereas this one is not. So the purpose behind the tape is this is essentially the center of the back end of the club as it leads up into the face, which is aligned into the sweet spot by design. The top mark, again, I used the same line of tape to go and trace back into where it actually aligns into where the weight usually is. You can't rely 100% on the markings. The reason that these markings are moved the way they are is to give you a visual representation that it looks correct. I personally don't like when they put a lot of markings on the top of the club because it looks distracting and it doesn't look right. Even though at address, this Cleveland altitude actually looks proper versus the srixon to me. Now, the reason that I'm bringing all this stuff up is when you set it up at address, your face could either be closed or open and you don't even realize it because you're using your alignment in junction with the weight. So as this one has the sweet spot marked here and the weight marked back here, that is going to be your actual alignment with this. It's the same idea of the way that your vehicle actually drives. The shorter the wheelbase is, the quicker it could actually turn and everything. The longer you make that, well, actually that's kind of a bad representation. Let's use iron sights on like a rifle or something like that. You have the furthest most point is going to be your forward sight and the furthest rear. Now you have that full angle of alignment to it. The shorter you make that radius, the tighter and harder it becomes. That's the same idea of what you're actually trying to aim with your driver. The mark on the face is only to give you a representation of approximately where the sweet spot is. I don't like the idea of them putting markers on the top because you don't want to aim with that. Mostly because you're not hitting off the ground with these, you're hitting up. So when you go and look at that reference point, it is just to tell you for the most part where in alignment the sweet spot is to the direction the club is sitting. Both of these clubs are sitting naturally on the ground, and you can see that these are actually leaned forward. This is going to be the correct line going straight. As I grip this one, if I want to add loft, I'm going to open the face. What does that do? That actually moves the face out off onto the right. In reality, your plane is still going to be, for the most part, in line. Before I actually put the tape on these clubs, I actually didn't realize that this one might actually be draw bias because the face is actually partially closed in alignment to the shaft. This is a good representation of being able to see, okay, so This is a true 9-degree loft towards my target. This is the line that I need to have set up for the angle I want. If you go and open the face because you're trying to give it that look like it's sitting appropriate, it's opening the face. If you close the face, you can now see where the club's target line is going to be. The adjustable drivers are going to be a little bit different. You're going to have a lot more play with it because the club is designed to be able to open, close, loft, and de-loft to be able to go and give you different directional points. Again, this is in conjunction with the weight. So by setting this one up where it looks natural to me, that is about where it should be at 10.5 degrees. The face looks a lot more open because the coloration and design of the club. The markings on the sides actually, to me, makes it look like it's sitting like this. If the club, again, doesn't look right to you, you're not going to hit it right. You can readjust yourself to the whole entire concept to it, but just keep in mind that where this alignment is has to be in line with your weight. That's going to give you the maximization that you can out of your launch. To go and actually again show you, this is a very small, it looks like an angry anime mark. This is in representation of where the sweet spot is. You shouldn't go off of these. The reason I say you shouldn't is because you're not sitting in a 2-dimensional plane. You're sitting in a 3-dimensional. Your driver is never going to sit perfectly flat on the ground. And if it is, that line is moved further out away from you in alignment to that spot. When you actually grip and set up, that line's supposed to be at an angle into the face. So that is a reference mark. And again, I have to emphasize, you can't fully rely on it because this mark is just a hair towards the toe. It is a reference point. So find something that looks a little bit right for you. Sometimes you might actually, if it helps personally, choke down a little bit on your shaft to get that alignment mark to look a little bit better, or just ignore it. Go off your instinct. Go with what's correct. You could put tape on the club to give you a better idea of where that heel weight is versus the face of the driver. Get a good practice swing, get a good couple setups or whatever, you know, train yourself to understand where your alignment is on the club. So when you get out there, you want to hit a nice little draw or a nice little fade, you know where that alignment is to be able to force it to do it, because that weight that's in the heel is ultimately going to dictate what direction it's going to go, as well as the point of impact of your face to your target line. Hopefully I explained this simple enough that it actually gives you a little bit of a better idea of what you're looking at. If not, leave a comment down below. If it did help you, sweet, leave a comment down below. Any of this feedback is going to help me being able to explain this stuff a little bit easier or better. If you like content like this, please like and subscribe. If you want to see more like this, follow me. So hopefully this helps you hit a little bit straighter shots down the fairway so you can keep in the fairway and have a good one.